As announced, I'm standing in for Professor Abdullah, who is unavoidably absent. Actually, there are two reviews here. The first one is on the novel Lunar, Retribution and Redemption, a novel by Kasim, Musa, Bichi.
And before you proceed, sir, can we know?
My name is Isma'il Bala. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm a student of Professor Abdullah. Yes, sir. Rukaya Khair, nicknamed Luna, studying beauty, sun that makes her shine like the moon. Luna, a Kano Hausa woman, goes to the university, meets a Southern Nigerian Paul's Prince schoolmate who corrupts her, who later marries her against her parents' wish, divorces him after realizing her mistake, seeks and obtains her parents' forgiveness, becomes a repentant and rehabilitated person, and gets married again, this time to her local childhood at Bayero. Luna is the first novel by Kasim Musa Bichi, the second one being The Angry Professor, which is going to be reviewed next after this one. It is about sin and redemption. It is gender compliant in the two of sinners. One, the female receives redemption, while the other, the male, has a tragic end. Throughout her formative years in Lagos and the period of adolescence in Kano, Luna has been of exemplary social and moral behavior. She had attended an Islamia school in Kano, where she was schooled in the correct recitation of all the 60 chapters of the Holy Quran and fundamental aspects of the precept and practice of the Islamic religion. Though she had many girlfriends with whom she socialized and participated in all aspects of social and cultural activities and events of her age group, she hardly fraternized with her many male admirers. This was because of the stringent upbringing of her family, though liberal in their attitude to their children's relationship with their peers outside their home. They did not fail to put them on leash and restraining attending, participating in or performing functions they did not approve. Yet, despite this strict upbringing, Luna eventually fell into the Liberal Party cycle at the University of Abuja, where she was enrolled to study mass communications. One of Luna's female admirers in the university was Momo, a happy-go-lucky and irresponsible snob who claimed to be a prince from the Edo State, Auchi Kingdom's ruling family. He became one of Luna's many lovers, whom she eventually married, despite objection from her parents. Despite having more or less lived for 3 years in sin, their marriage collapsed in 8 months, and eventually an Islamic court annulled the marriage when her husband refused to divorce her. She returns home to Kano and enrolled in an MSc Political Science degree, despite graduating in mass communications, with the purpose of studying leadership qualities of great men. The novel listed 42 of those great men, so that she can contest for election. She eventually ended up marrying an old admirer, and after the marriage took off on his private jet to various countries for the honeymoon. He, however, turned out to be a drug dealer and was eventually gunned down by his associate while on a business trip in the US. She, interested enough, established a cosmetic factory, a drug rehabilitation center, and an orphanage for homeless children. All this to expiate the sins of her husband, from whom she inherited the wealth. Analysis. It was made clear by the author that this was a novel that it would revolve around cultural and economic of a typical Kano City family and emerges as a cultural novel. For the most part, it works and will be appreciated by local audiences, especially young people out of touch with the specificities of their cultural heritage in terms of behavior and marriage customs. There are quite a few scholastic and structural issues though. The biggest was the genetic nature of the novel. It is about a woman nicknamed Luna due to her bright luminescent face. Accepted the name given to her by a Christian teacher. A dialogue would have been created where an Islamic teacher in the same educational setting insisted either on Baturia or Zara. The latter being Cyrus, a star brighter than the moon itself. The term Cyrus, like all since Greek, also has pagan connotation. But since there is an Islamic equivalent to the Zara is a normal Muslim female name, that would have been preferable. Luna, as a breathing character, was introduced abruptly into the story without any preliminary warning, and she was barred, having been part of the undergraduate party scene at the university. And easy for her since she was very attractive, despite growing up in a conservative northern Nigerian family. She was introduced into the party circuit by a non-Hausa boy from southern Nigeria. Although the central message is about redemption, yet it was not sought by the sinner, but on behalf of the sinner. This realistic nature of how he acquired his wealth, a Kano businessman involved at a high level with drug lords, the mob and snipers, reads like some movie script and does not convey the authenticity one would expect from such character development. There are many ways areas who could be brought down right here in Nigeria. He does not have to die, but his wealth could be taken away from him. Or he might go through an epiphany and stop his criminal activities. Maybe a prayer from his wife is answered, and thus redeems himself. As it were, the redemption is not Luna's because she has not made any contribution to her life. She abused the gift of beauty given to her and had nothing to show for it. So how could she be considered redemptive with someone else ill-gotten wealth? In the end, Professor Abdullah said, I find the novel interesting due to the historiographic insight it provides on various custom, history, and religion, particularly as it affects the Muslim Hausa diaspora in the 1960s. It, however, requires significant writing to create a plot which it has not at the moment. The biggest flaw is timeline and arrangement of the events along the timeline. Mr. Chairman, this is the first review of the novel Luna. This is the second review of the second novel called The Angry Professor. The Angry Professor, a novel by Kasim Musa Bichi. The Angry Professor is a novel by Kasim Musa Bichi, an elder statesman in Kano. He brings his narrative skills in a reading story about life, survival, and the consequences of lack of fall. Its central character is an easily provoked academician with high temper, which he was unable to control, leading to tragic consequences. The story is set in Sokoto and chronicles the life and times of a 60-year-old Islamic cleric, Bala Isma'il, who despite advanced age, travels to Mecca for the Hajj. He goes on the trip with his wife and two male children, Bayero and Kambari, who are fairly young. The trip takes him from Sokoto to the Magaran, then Portland, later renamed as N'Djamena, and becoming the capital of Chad Republic. As the trip was long and arduous, he often finds himself staying in places for months before moving to the next stage. One of the first places he stayed was N'Djamena in the Chad Republic. His wife dies in the town, and after an appropriate period, he remarries a local medium who already has 3 children. One day, Kambari, his temperamental child, becomes involved in a scuffle with one of his stepbrothers, When in an attempt to stop the fight, he knocked down his junior stepsister, who fell down and died after banging her head on the ground. This creates tension between Kambari and his stepfather, although fatalism of the family that it was ordained to happen by God enabled them to withstand the crisis. The tension becomes too much and Madam Isma'il sends his two sons back to Sokoto. In the meantime, Madam Isma'il proceeds to the Hajj alone after his wife refuses to follow him, not wanting to abandon our own biological children. And on the return journey, 7 months later, picks up the second wife, Miss Company, Awal and her children, including a baby, and they all relocate to Sokoto, where he is given a high position as a sheikh with his own Quranic school. While the other various kids he gave birth to or adopted found vocation in businesses, police, the army. It was somebody, the focus of the book's title, who excelled eventually, graduating with first class in Islamic history at Usman Napoleon University, Sokoto. He is employed as a graduate assistant at Kudus and eventually was given scholarship to proceed for PhD at the School of Oriental and African Studies, SOAS in London. He eventually rises up in the academic ladder to become a professor. However, his high temper often gets in the way of his sociability with people, particularly during public debates about any opinion that runs counter to his own. What plays him up is any challenge to the legitimacy of the so-called jihad conducted by the plan. He feels proud of the jihad and its leaders and will not tolerate any criticism of the process. He is advised to go for an anger management course, which he did, and he seems to have gained control of his emotion. He has relapsed and started taking illicit drugs to control his feelings, starting with Valium and progressing to amphetamine. He eventually overdoses on the drugs he depends on to control his temper and dies. In conclusion, Professor Abdullah writes, overall, Madam Isma'il's 5-year absence in Saudi Arabia to learn Islamic jurisprudence has not been justified, beside the part of it giving him the opportunity to perform the Hajj. We are not sure which sheikhs he attached himself to while in Mecca or which books he studied. He left a sheikh, a returned an al-Haji, and a sheikh. Thus, the insufficient character development of Kambari did not enable us to judge why he became a drug addict. On the other hand, he had anger management issue. Drug addiction, of course, could afflict anyone, and it is a tragic thing to happen. But usually there is an underlying deep-rooted reason. Many angry and temperamental people get along fine without overdosing themselves simply because they cannot cope. Casting Kambari as a professor or any other person for that matter, who could not cope with his innate ability to handle complex situations and seek refuge in drugs, does not do justice to understanding mental health issues. Further, he does not have to be a professor to have an anger issue or become a drug addict. Overall, it would appear that his professorship has no use to either him or to the society. One is at a loss to the significance of his being professor and angry one at that. And in the end, Professor Abdullah writes, be that as it may, the novel provides a fascinating travel from Sokoto, Yabagaran, Jamaica, Sudan, and eventually Saudi Arabia. It provides a picture of the route land pilgrims follow to get from Nigeria to Makkah overland. That's the review, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much.